Welcome back to Factorio Space Age. My name is Nilaus, and we are here with a masterclass on covering the green and red circuits. What we did in the previous episode was we did the blue circuits. In what the objective is today is also kind of the same thing. We want to make a circuit build that is working for the base material, the early game, and then the mid game with the rare components, and then the late game with the legendary components. And it has to be the same design so that we don't have to do any redesign at different stages. We simply stamp it down, and then when we have the rare or legendary materials, we just run the upgrade planner across, and then it'll work. So if you think that's good, then stay tuned. And of course, we'll be providing the blueprints and the design process to get there, so you can be inspired by how we design things. And also, if you want to, then as your patron supporter, you can just download the blueprints and put them straight into your own game. Well, let's start from scratch. Let's start with the green circuit and let's see how that pans out. So we're going to start with some green circuit build here. And well, you know the recipe, everything is usual. We're going to be putting in 5 of the productivity 2 modules. So this represents the time when you've been to we've been to Fulgora, you've been to Volcanus, but you haven't quite made it to Gleba yet and not set up all of the production for productivity 3 modules. So this is going to be our starting point. We're going to be assuming you have speed module 3 because they're made on Volcanus. No, yes, they're made on Volcanus. So that's going to be a good starting point. There's 1, 2, 3 in between, and then of course we're going to be throwing in a beacon as well, and that will be like this. So this is going to be our baseline. I am going to put a fake here, so we just get the power going immediately. So this is going to be our baseline to start with. 28.8 is going to be produced. I need 48, and I need that. So we need to just make all the other stuff, and I just realized that I don't have this one on my hotkey, which I absolutely need. So at this point, we are going to be getting some circuits inbound, and I make circuits in here. You can make it. You can also make it in a electromagnetic plant, which has the advantage that it has 5. But here you make it with 1 less step. Otherwise, you have to make it into iron, to copper plates, and then go in here, which is more machines, and we don't really need that. So if we look at this just like that, I'm actually seeing that I have enough, so I don't need to put productivity modules in. Well, that's nice. So let's just put some quality, some modules in here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to be designing it for the normal, then I'm going to upgrade it. Once I've upgraded, I'll realize that there might be some bottlenecks that I haven't foreseen, and then we'll fix those. Right, so that looks good so far. And now we just need some iron plates inbound, which is also going to be from here. We'll just take this. I'll just get it a little bit closer here, and this will be iron plates. Then let's have a look. Since they are connected, that is perfect. So this is about as simple as this gets. Like that. Good. And I think I need to take this out because I want to make sure that we actually cater for this. So I'm going to have a power pole there and a power pole here. They feel like a little bit too close. So this part, what do we need now? We don't, is this misaligned? Yeah, this one is misaligned. There we go. That's why it felt weird. There we go. These are 3 bits apart, and this one is, because I want everything to be just going like that. And, oh, these go the other way here. And then we're going to get some output. We can do that like this. Wow, I love the fact that I don't have power now. There we go. Now it's power. All right, so this is all good when we have the inbounds. So I'm going to get you from here, and I can squeeze it into that one, and the other one's here. So I'm going to now get some that one, and now they definitely need more space between, because this will be the iron part and the copper part. There. And let's see, they are not affected by any beacons. So if we look at it like this, there's going to be a slight deficit. So let's put a single module in here. Also, I don't have efficiency modules 3 because, well, they're not ready yet. And this one just go in here, and you are going to be going just like that. So we have now, let's see, is it at ratio? Yes, everything is green. That means we are actually producing this if there is enough throughput. So we're going to be building something here that I've now come to love this design. And why do I not have that? I love this design. So what I'm going to do here is I'll just do 100. That's hopefully enough. And then I trash unrequested. Then we're going to take all of our stone bricks. Our stone goes directly straight in here and gets landfill. And the landfill goes up here, which is trash unrequested. And then it works as a requested, as a active provider chest, which is very nice. And all this one needs is some input of here. And I'm going to be faking that input, that one. And then we get some lava. So all we need now is lava inbound. And then the whole thing just works. Great. So I think I have a blueprint that I just prepared for the occasion. This one. This blueprint is just measuring the throughput on a belt. There. And it takes 10 tiles and it monitors each of them separately. It does not work if you use this feature here, because that will take half of this and half of this, and so it doesn't work. So I have to use it specifically for these. So it takes these 10, and if it is, can I just do this one so that we see how it works? And if I'm just now setting green circuits and green circuits, so now this flows in and it goes to 60 because we don't have any stacking unlocked. That's actually funny how the stacking. Oh, right. Well, we need to get the stacking for later on. So this one would go like, okay, this is 60. So we can actually rely on this as a method of doing this. And we're going to be putting in some, definitely not that. And there. Good. So what you see now is we will see that this should be hovering around 29 because the 28.8 is what we have. So we can just kind of use it as a measure of saying, is it actually producing what I say it is? We can look at this. Is it continuously working? Yes, it is. Is this continuously working? Yes, it is. So then the other things, as long as they're never running out, then that's fine. Great. We can see that everything here is working fine. These are sort of idle and we have enough materials everywhere. Great. Is this going to work for when we upgrade to rare components? No, probably not. But we'll give it a shot. And how we do that is I have this one, which should be upgrading everything to rare components. And we now have a choice at this point. I'll do that twice, so we also upgrade the modules. We have a choice whether I want to use these or I want to use normal quality stack inserters. Those are the options. Rare quality stack inserters is not an option at this point. Sure, you can make it, but honestly, you're probably not going to have it. Because that's a pain in the ass to make these on Clever, and that's probably something you don't want to do before you get to Legendary. So that's why I'm saying that the choice is between rare quality bulk inserters or normal quality stack inserters. And I'm going to go with this one. Right, so what do we have here? We are now seeing that this is maxing out at 60. That's a problem because we are actually getting too much here. So we need to do something else. That one. And then maybe we can do something else here. That one. And oops. This thing here could then go one up and next to it. And connect it. These are just for measuring. Yeah. And let me just merge these together. There. Going up. Right. So now let's have a look at the ratios here. We can now see that we have a deficit of iron. So what we should, the maximum we should be making is 96. But we're definitely not making 96 up here because we have a deficit of iron. So we're going to have to make this one. Okay. Definitely not there. There. Good. So what about now? Now, theoretically, it should be producing everything. And is it actually doing that? Come on. Go faster. Let's have a look. You are working constantly. You are not struggling a little bit. So why is that struggling a little bit here? Is this getting there? That one? We're just going to see if it struggles at anything or... It was... Did it say output constraint or input constraint? We want to see up here when it stutters. Output full, what ingredients? Okay, so it's output full. So we're simply not able to output fast enough on this belt. That's a problem, I guess. What we can do then is we can actually say, okay, you know what? I'm gonna get some more outputs, and this is getting a little bit of a hack, but it works. And then go from here and get in that one. Yeah, because it's simply an output constraint here. It is not an input constraint. So now we have 6 output or 3 output inserters from each. I am not able to get it any further out. If I was to do something better, then I would have to do that one, which then goes out and takes more space. I suppose I can do that and do it like this. It doesn't hurt that much. It's still inside, and I have everything that I need. There you go. And you, of course, also still need to be there. So this one should make sure that we have everything going out fast enough now, and it's evenly on both belts, sort of, somewhat. Let's have a look at this. Now it's now hovering around 96, which is what the theoretical maximum should be. So what we see now is, yeah, the first one isn't really up to speed because it's kind of missing something. I am not sure I want this. I want to try to take this out. That one and that one. And then see if it can still output. Because if it can still output everything, then I really don't have a problem. I want to make sure that this is always green, and if it ever changes to something else, then we have a problem. It doesn't seem to change here. This looks very stable, and the other one's going to be exactly the same. And we're now hovering around the 96. It's very hard to see, but you know, it looks around 96. So this is good enough for now. So we're going to take this module here and then take a look at it again when we upgrade it to legendary status. That's going to be like this. You can see everything gets updated to legendary status, but the exception is that the bulk inserters get turned into stack inserters there and there. So now we have legendary stack inserters. Do they stack? They should be. And then also we need to make sure that we get actually something in here. And we probably need to make sure that we have some supply of calcite nearby. So having a look at this one now that it's fully upgraded to everything here is legendary, including legendary stack inserters. And let's have a look. Theoretically, we don't care about the stone. We have definitely a huge deficit of copper, and we have a deficit of iron ore. So now we actually have some choice here. We can either keep scaling this one up, or we can go up here to this one and then say, maybe we should actually have used some productivity modules instead. Now what if we put some productivity modules in here instead? There. Would that be better? No, it really wouldn't make a difference. Okay, so that's kind of good news, I guess. Because that means that's not really our option. We do need to just get more copper in here. So let's go in here and then say upgrade that and upgrade that. And let's have a look at it now. Everything now is in a surplus. That's looking good. And there's a big surplus here. Could I make do with one of these less here? No. Because then I have a deficit here. And that's not going to be it. So it does need 3 speed modules here. But at this point, we should have what we need. We're going to produce 357.5. So it's very nice. It's 1.5 belts, fully stacked belts. So the question is it stacked? No, because we haven't unlocked the stacking. Now we've unlocked the stacking in this test world so that we can see, and you can see that they're now nicely stacked. And we can go up here and see that this is, for all intents and purposes, you can see it hovers between 5 and 6, so it's pretty close to 360, and I was supposed to be producing 357.5. So I don't need to put this extra in here to put an extra here. So, or to put. So I was thinking about getting this one out, as we looked at before, to get an extra stack inserter out, but I don't need extra stack inserters. So this is going to be the final design, because this design is missing a few lights here, and also some other lights here. I think I'm going to put this down here, so that we can get lights in this location, and that one. That's the best locations we can put it in. So we have the final design for our green circuits right here. And that means if you have one of these, then in the early game you produce 28.8. In the mid game you produce 96. And in the late game you produce 357 for one of these. That means anywhere you need green circuits en masse, you just put this one down. And yeah, it's pretty simple actually, and that's how you will have this. I don't think you're going to be needing that much green circuits. Green circuits are not used surprisingly much because we also have all the green circuits that go into the blue circuits are already included in the blue circuit build. But let's look at red circuits, because red circuits is definitely another thing that is always in high demand. So we're going to start basically a bit with the same premise. Oh, we're going to be starting from the ground up again, this one, and now we're going to be starting with red circuits. So red circuits are slow, so that's going to be another headache. We know already how we're going to be designing it. We're going to be designing it in a grid such as this, and then let's get some power in here. So what is this one doing? This is producing 4.8. The bigger issue here is going to be the plastic bars, because we can't produce the plastic bars as part of this design. So we're going to get plastic bars externally, and we can produce the copper cable and the electronic circuits as part of this design. But external parts will have to be the lava, of course, and then the plastic. So keep that in mind, that we can't get rid of the plastic part. Now, how big should this be? Well, 2 of these. Right, and then another one of these sort of smashed in the middle. There we go. And I don't want you here, I want you there. That seems pretty good. Now let's get more. There. How fast is this now? This is 11.8. That's a good number. Why? I don't know. It's just a good number. And we're going to be doing the design that I've done before, because I like it. And that goes like this. Here, and they need to go in here. Very simple design, and that gets everything we want. Right, and I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. There, and the output will then be in the middle. Ooh, that's not great. My guess is this has to go a little bit up. As long as it's connecting, then it should be fine. So the output will be like this. Oops. We have to make sure that there's 2 spaces in between so we can actually get this. So from here, 2 spaces, and up. And that gets deleted whenever something comes out. And we just need output, and output. Yeah, so we got the outputs done. And the inputs, then all we need, is the tough part. And that is, we now need to get some. Yeah, let's make this a separate build. Oops, I always seem to forget that. Let's do this. Right, so let's do a separate build that makes sure that we do all of this. We need 26.2 or 23 and 13 here. And then the plastic will just get in somehow magically. That means we need to make some greens, which will again also get something done. And I'm going to need one of these where everything is going to be grouped around. There. Good. Are you fast enough? Yes. Because I need 13 point something and I have 14. So that's good. But we also now need 24 of this. So we're going to be needing, let's get it from the previous one. Let's get that one in here. And let's get that one as well in here. We might need to get better productivity speeds or whatever for this. And they need to be direct insert. I don't want to deal with this on belts. So something like this, direct insertion. Is this fast enough? Yes, it's fast enough. So no problem there. Is it fast enough when we include all of this? It actually is. Surprisingly, it is. Nice. And then we just need some other ones. Oh. Oops, power. Well, I am going to gracefully ignore that and just kind of do that. And then make a fake power. We are going to be, this is the test world. We're not here to deal with power tutorials. We're here to do with this design. And that was this part. Let's see if this part isn't just exactly what we need for what this is. Kind of a template built by now. And I think you can move one up. Yeah, and you can move one up. There. Okay, so this is a pretty good build. Let's have a look at ratios. Everything looks good except for the stone, but that's fine. That goes in here. So this is actually a good build. What we need is, and it's kind of off here because this is a 4 wide and this is it's an odd number wide and this is an even number. So but unfortunately we can't make it pretend that this is 5 wide, because then I'd have to transfer with long hand inserters, and that's definitely not going to work later on. So what I have to do something. I guess just like this and like this. These could be closer, but I prefer to sort of have it nearby. And we could get stack inserters, two of these, or bulk inserters, all good. Maybe just in the middle here, so we have room for some lights on that side. And now, haha, this was the easy part. The hard part comes when I have to merge these two together, because now I have the option of putting out here. And I can get each of these belts. Now, usually I would say this one is going to go out into a full belt here and a full belt here. But I actually want this to be half a belt plus half a belt plus half a belt plus half a belt. So I need it as 4 half belts instead of as a single normal belt, which is going to be a little bit complicated. So, and why do I do that? Well, I want that because later on when these get faster, I want them to have as easy access to the resource that is used the most, that's copper cable. So all of these inserters must be able to get copper cables when needed, but they don't all need to be getting the other stuff. So it works. So we're gonna do, you are gonna go up here. Like that. I guess. And you can be put in here and then get that one. Right, so right hand side in the direction of travel, that means you're going to be putting out here and you're going to go out here. So that's one belt fixed. The other one is going to go over to this part. And that is not going to work. That one can go up here, right hand side, and then I need, from here I get the plastic inbound. I'm just going to invent the plastic for now. There we go. That will get like this. There we go. Actually, I should probably just get this started so we can see what's going on. I don't know if this is too much space. I think it's too much space, so I'll just kind of see if we can make it. And you're going to be out here. Right, so at least this looks good, but I don't think that's what I want here, because I need copper cables going in here. So copper cables are fine for this, but now I need to get them over here. So how the hell would I do that? I could do you like that, and there. Yes, that looks good. And that does kind of mean that... There we go. Resetting that. And that means the other one could go up here. And there we go. So now this monstrosity is actually exactly what we want. And I can actually minimize it, make it a little bit smaller by doing that. Can I make it even smaller? No, I don't think so. I want to make it one smaller. It feels like it, but that one is going to be in trouble. Like 1, 2, 3, 4. Those could definitely be taken out. But would that work? I think that works. Okay. Alright, we'll see. Here we go. That goes in. That one's out here. And we just need to help speed this along. Otherwise it never gets in there. Does it work? It seems to work. Yeah. Okay. So we have everything up here. Looking good. This is unfortunately coming in stacked. Doesn't matter. The amount we need is only 13.5, so 13.1, so that's not a problem. Cool. So now we have a design that works for normal builds. That's great. And this one is just ready to put out, and I think I want to do that because why not? And is this is still maxed out, so even more. There. Since it's beacon affected, then we just anything that we can, we want to do this one. Okay, I'm happy, and let's have a look on this part. Is everything green? Except for the cables. How the hell did the cables not work? Oh, right, that's... Oh, you're not affected by that. Oh, that would be so sweet if I could make that, but I don't think so. So, yes, we're gonna be needing... Okay, that's a little bit much. Like that? No? Like this? Nope. Then the question also becomes, does this even scale? Okay, so now this works for normal. And it all looks like it's working, and we do want to have our measuring stick here. It's a little bit annoying to put on here because it's going to reach into the next area, but if I now make this down here and get the measuring stick here, get that implemented. Yeah, I know we're working on this, but I want to make sure that it actually works. So we are going to be building it here, and then we're going to check if it has the right expected outcome. Once that's done, we can then go and upgrade it to the next tier. But let's just take a look at this. So this should be like 11, between 11 and 12 is the number that we want, and the lower the number is, the harder it is to actually get to see that it works. Right. So it's now more often than not a 1 here, and there's sometimes a 2, and sometimes this goes down to 9. So I think it's fine. We're going to be taking this entire thing here and pasting it over here, because why not? And then we are going to be using the blueprints to upgrade it, and then look at what it would look like with rare quality items. There we go. That's rare quality items. Everything has come in. I'm also sending this in with a... So let's start by looking at it. Is everything working? Yes, everything is still working. So now the question is it also outputting the 41.5 that we want? And is this still working? Like, none of these items here are... This is greater than half a belt, but it's coming out here on 2 belts. So even if it's not stacked, it's still going to be fine. And yeah, I mean, I could make it with not... At this point, I could say, do you want to get 36 in by a belt or by robots? You really don't want to get it by robots. So if you have an option, then get it by belts. And it could come from down here if you want everything to come down from the south. And all this, let's look at it. Does this look like 41.5? It very much looks like 41.5 here. At least in my opinion. This one has a 0, 1 or 2. It's mostly 4. Sometimes it just flickers down. It looks great. And that just means we can take this entire build here. Didn't change anything. There we go. And then we're going to be applying the legendary blueprint there twice. So we also get the modules upgraded. And then the question becomes, will it then work? Now, I'm a little bit worried that we are not able to keep up with this. So let's see. We're just going to do this to see, is there any surplus? Oh, look at that. That's a nightmare, isn't it? We are not keeping up with this part. However, if you look at this, 52 copper cables goes into a lot of green circuits, but we don't need this amount of green circuits, because this is a massive surplus. So the question is, this surplus, is that more than this deficit? And yes, it is. How do we know? Well, this recipe is by 3. And even though it says it's waiting for input here, because it doesn't have enough, then it has plenty on the output. So it's actually constrained on the output side, which is what it needs to be. It needs to be output constrained, which means this one flows in. And does the circuit reach the end? Yes, it does. Now here is something that's going to break. This is absolutely going to break, having it like this. So what I want to do instead is I want actually to do here, 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 here. This is one of the exceptions where the blueprint upgrade isn't really going to be super advantageous here. Oh, right, I can't do that. I have to do it like this. That one and that one. Why is that? Because if I use a stack inserter and it grabs a stack and somehow it can't put that stack in here, then it's going to get stuck. With these inserters, the bulk inserters, they're fast enough to keep everything spinning and provide everything in here, but they're also flexible enough that if they need something else, they can switch. Even if they have something in here, then if they don't pick up a full stack, then they're going to go on. There could be like a shortage of plastic, and then suddenly the stack inserter would be sort of waiting for the rest of the plastic to come in, and then it would get stuck. So that's why it has to be done with bulk inserters, even on the highest level. These ones are fine because they're single item, but any inserter that handles multiple items really should not be a stack inserter unless you put some circuit logic on it, and I don't want to do that. Right, and this one should be making a very glorious amount of red circuits. We still have a deficit, but that's fine, and it should be 154. So does this look like 154? It's all over the place, but sometimes it's mainly 1, 5, and sometimes it's even 6 and 7, but sometimes also 2 and 3. So I'm gonna say, yeah, it's probably pretty close. Like if you look at this, is it always working? This is the one that's least likely because it's the end of the chain. So if something was starving, then this would be the one that's starving. The fact is that these stop spinning for a second, not a second, but for a little bit, and that makes me worried, but it's not. It is working all the time. So as long as this is working, we know that if all of these outputs are working, then it is producing what it should. And there you have it. This is the blueprints. We have now created a simple blueprint for green circuits. When you need green circuits, maybe you need it for the hub, maybe you need it for some science, maybe you need it for whatever. But now you have it, and then you get to rare quality, you upgrade it. When you get to legendary quality, you upgrade it. Similarly for red circuits, which is probably more valuable because you need way more red circuits. For example, this is a good prerequisite for getting into modules, which is kind of the next thing we want to do, because now we can have a reliable way to make red, green, and blue circuits, and now we can do this. So these blueprints are of course available to patron supporters. If you're not a patron supporter, that is also okay, because we've designed it on camera, so you can just design it yourself. And I'll be providing the first one, and then of course the blueprints, the upgrade planners to get them there. But just keep in mind that don't use the stack inserters for the red circuits. So if you find this useful, then be sure to hit the like button, and if you find some mistakes or something, let me know in the comment section or in Discord. And of course, I'm also streaming Factorio on Twitch. It's on Sundays, maybe some more or less during the summer vacation, but that's where we do the cool designs together, and then I wrap it up and make it presented here in these masterclasses. So thank you very much for watching. Until next time, take care and stay effective.